All right. You happy with that?
Oh, we'll have to do, won't it?
Yeah. All right, guys. Today's guest, you all know him. You all love him. You might even recognize him. But if you haven't seen his face before, here is Rapid Nismo from across the pond in the UK. How you doing, my friend?
We're doing well. We're freezing, but we're doing well.
So I'm glad you're here, viewers. Today we're going to look at Rapid's collection. Rapid, as we get started, let me start the way we always start. Tell us real quickly while I flash up your channel, just in case someone hasn't seen it, what should they expect to find on your channel? And then we'll dive into whatever you want to show out of your collection first.
Well, I'm an English sort of collector, if you couldn't tell from the weird accent for majority of you guys who will probably be American watching this. Um, and I basically talk a bunch of crap about the little cars that I collect and spend far too much money on. But no, I enjoy it, and we meet so many great people through it. I do mail calls. I do sort of the main thing I'm doing right now is sort of skilled reviews, which is something I chatted on the last time I was on this channel. I do customs occasionally, and also some UK, sorry, pardon me, some UK peg hunting as well. So yeah, it's a big varied amount of things I sort of do on the channel, including also something I've been recently toying with, which is taking the Hot Wheels or whatever cast it is and comparing it to the actual car if I can. So for instance, the
Yeah.
R56 Mini Cooper we have outside, the Nismo, which is why I'm named this, and a few other bits and pieces as well. So yeah, it's a great little sort of branch of things I like to sort of. I don't like to narrow myself down into one thing. I like to branch out and
Uh,
really explore.
well, you know that I love variety in a diecast collection as well. So let's get right to it, man. What are some of the highlights of your collection?
So I'm going to start with one of the most recent things I've received from a guy called David slash Rob slash Monica. That's not the same person, by the way. The first two are, but the second one is his fiance, who I forgot to shout out in the video, which I unboxed everything from him. And he recently sent me a custom and a few other bits and pieces which are fantastically cool. And the first of which is this Volvo, which is
Hmm.
an 850 date, or as I like to call it, an 850 T5R, which has a turbo five-cylinder engine in it. It has
Hmm.
Nismo across the front wheel shield, brilliant details inside, and of course that fantastic deep purple color.
Yeah.
And if you want to find it on Instagram, it's D33 Diecast Customs, I believe, from the top of my head. Now you notice I didn't notice this when I was recording the video, which is why I didn't really say it. But he later messaged me and said, "Did you notice the wheels?" And I said, "No." And he went, "One side's gold and one side's silver, in case
Look
you
at
want to
that.
display it either way." As he also sent me a card protector and a custom card mounted on wood to keep it nice, which
That's
has Vibe
fantastic.
on the
Yeah.
logo. And I love things like this. This is brilliant. This is sort of fantastically customized too. So you'll never see one exactly the same. Really, really cool that one. And definitely one of my favorites ever. And the wood smells very nice, if I may say so myself.
And I did watch that video, guys. You need to go check out that video on Rapid's collect or on his channel because that thing is exquisite. Extremely
It
well
is
done.
brilliant.
All right, man. Let's keep on trucking.
So another thing, something I wasn't planning on including, but it's another thing from the same box I received. And the reason I'm doing this is probably because of I'm very, very biased towards this brand. The both diecast brand and also the actual car itself. And it is, if I dart off camera for just a second, this brilliant thing, which is a Mini Cooper R53 Cooper S. Now, usually the pond, this is just a Mini Cooper, but to me, it's a lot, as this is the car that I am currently learning to drive in. Well, not this exact one. Mine's an R56. This one's a earlier R53, but it's in the same color scheme as mine, which is red on the base, or red on the sort of sides and black on the roof, and it is just brilliant. It is fantastic. I love that car. Drives very, very well. It's diesel, and yeah, this is just very close to home. I love a little Mini, and plus got one behind me as well, waiting to be shown in the future. Now, I didn't even know this thing's existence until very recently when I was trying to buy one, and it went for a stupid amount of money, so I, of course, didn't. And then randomly, when I opened the box, this thing was there, which generated quite a nice reaction from me, I'd imagine. Um, Looking back,
Yep.
which is probably something that I can imagine happened. But no, this is a great little car, and it was a much needed sort of catch
Had to
for
have
me.
it. Had to have it.
Definitely,
Absolutely.
definitely, 100%.
All right. I love it, man.
So I'm going to next start with something, one of my favorites from last year's mainline from Hot Wheels, which was for me quite a decent year. I didn't pick too much up, but I picked up a few. Um, and this one was by far one of my favorites. I couldn't name a top favorite. I tried. And of course, I also forgot in that video, which I did do in awards, I forgot the Alfa Romeo GTV6, which I can't figure myself for. That would have won one of the top spots. But this thing was definitely one of the other tops, which is this thing, the Porsche 928, I believe, if I remember
928.
rightly.
Yeah,
The
that's right.
928 Safari. This is my favorite type of Porsche because it's different. It's the first ever V8 Porsche. It was a front-mounted V8. Choice between either a manual, I believe, six-speed, or an automatic. I wouldn't get the automatic. I just love how different this thing is. It's very cool, very unique, and just in total, very me.
Yeah.
I love things like this. It's just
Yeah.
very different. You never see them. You never see a 928 full stop, which I'm still meaning to make a video on this, by the way. Is my first ever Wheels RLC, and it was a beautiful green Jaguar E-Type. It's just fantastic. The details on this thing are brilliant, and I do need to get it open more often because it is absolutely exquisite, and that is the only word that can really be used for this thing. It is just brilliant.
Well,
Every single angle, is perfect.
yeah, you had to have that one. I saw that in a show. That was part of that What's Cracking episode where we crack open some stuff. And yeah, when I saw that, and they only had one, there was tons of American muscle and tons of gassers, but only one Jaguar, so I had to snatch it up. I'm glad you like it.
We move on to something very close to my heart, and it's the reason why I have all of this around me, and it involves a certain clinically insane also person. That's we're noticing a common theme here. Called Derek. Now, Derek has quite a funky history of haircuts, and also something I blame for starting off this hobby, which is this one DeLorean. This is a Back to the Future 1 DeLorean. Sorry, Back to the Future 2.
Hmm.
And in fact, actually, no, it wasn't that one. It was this one. That's the right one. That was my first ever DeLorean from him. And the reason I am in this space where I am now and people know me so well all stemmed from this. Now, I randomly, in the middle of lockdown, stumbled across this Honest Diecast channel. I was one of his first ever subscribers because I noticed sort of it was entertaining at the time. And he posted one of his first ever things. I noticed there was an abundance of these things. And I had never seen a premium before until I looked at his channel. And then I looked at my shops and thought, well, there's none. Now, it's a different story. Now we have more premiums than you guys at this point,
Yep.
which is insane. But no, this thing, I couldn't get one for the life of me. I didn't know where to get one from. I just started collecting as a result of him and also Adrian, big as diecast. Shout out to him as well, the support. And this thing really kicked everything off. And this was the first ever thing I received ever. Now, this was supposed to be just this, maybe a second one, or a small little box. And by the time it got to my house, this small little box had turned out to be about this wide and that tall, which proves that Derek, quite frankly, is mental, and we've all got to love him. That
Absolutely.
man put a lot of heart and soul into that box, and I love it. In fact, behind me, somewhere around here, I have one of his first ever customs, which is really, really cool as well. And actually, I'm going to get that on video because I've never actually shown it off. So I'm going to take the chance now to show it off. Now, it's just his standard skyline on the top. You wouldn't notice much different until you turn it upside down and realize the detail on the bottom is phenomenal. Now, going from this to what he's producing now is just
Yeah.
simply sort of heavenly to sort of it's brilliant. But the stuff he produces now is
Yeah. It's
insane. It's nigh on
immaculate.
RLT style. But yeah, so Derek really kicked everything off, and he was the reason why I am doing what I am doing now. Um, which is why I blame him. I'm sending you an invoice, Derek, for all the money I've lost.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's your
So
fault.
when was this? How many years ago?
This was oh, first got into contact with Derek around I think September 2020, which was in the middle of a lockdown for
Hmm.
a thing we cannot name. Uh,
Right.
so that's been 4 years now coming up. since me and Derek first crossed our paths. Um, which from there stemmed. I started watching the worst YouTube channel ever,
Ever.
which of course is this one. If you guys don't know the joke, that's why it's called Twice Diecast. That is why it is twice. Um, which he started reviewing some welly diecast, which I noticed I had a few pieces of. And yeah, it was just a very inviting community, which we all sort of went a long little line, and then it went like that.
Yeah.
Through 2021 for Derek, and then 2022, and then it just spiraled out of insanity. So yeah, it's been a great little time for us all, supporting each other, and then yeah, we're just plodding along.
All right. So we see a little bit of a backdrop. Do you do you have a lot of stuff in storage, or do you try and display a lot of your diecast?
So I try to have as much as I can, which tends to be customs. I don't have any customs away at all. All of my customs go behind me, which leaves little space anywhere else for other stuff. So I have some premium loose stuff in a multi-story sort of thing, off to the left next to me there. Um, but for the most part, I've got things displayed inside of my cupboard here.
Well,
Dim dark.
if we don't get to look at everything on this episode, while I'm talking now, we'll have some pictures go by of stuff that
We will
maybe we
indeed.
just didn't have some time. But let's keep on.
I can try and turn the camera around later point.
Yeah, sure. Well, we'd love a little quick tour if possible, but crack
To what's
on.
behind me on the wall. So next up, it is a must. A big must. It is this, which was a custom I completed in, I believe, late summer, early sort of, um, early autumn, we'll say. And it's this, a little black and red Mini Cooper R56 JCW. Now, this car looks very similar to mine. And the reason I say that is it is an R56. This is my generation of Mini. This is the one I drive.
All right, so
Um,
hold it still because what we're going to do, we're going to cover up my ugly mug with a picture of your actual car, and viewers, you tell us if Rapid nailed it, and I think you did. And what I like is the attention to detail, not only on your car and your custom, but did you notice that you're red on top, black on top for your clothing? So that, the kit matches the car. That's next level attention to detail.
well, I will admit, that was not planned at all
You
in any way, shape, or
you
form.
should have taken credit for it. I gave it to you.
Similarly, as well, from another maniac, is this, oh, which is a custom from a very good friend of mine. Can't remember his name now, but no, this is of the other car outside, which is the Nismo. And this is a Nissan Juke Nismo RS. It's 2015, and it's a car we've had for quite a while now. And the reason my channel is called Rapid Nismo, and also my automotive photography page on Instagram, media_NRS. Um, NRS standing for Nismo RS, if anyone was wondering. So here we are. We have my mat, which I record every video on outside. A little bit dirty underneath, so I need to do a little bit of washing. But if you sent me a box in the past and noticed a few bits and pieces dotted around, look, bit of that tat, you'll notice that I have it all mostly on display that I could possibly manage. So we have this, a BMW transport set. Now, if you know anything about me, I am a huge fan of BMW. Huge. That's
Hmm.
why I have a BMW flag on my wall. And this has an M2, an E46 M3, and an E39 M5. Beautiful little cars. And next to it was a thing I sent from EJ Workshop, which was a Nissan box set. Another must-have. I just couldn't get it at the time. It was unavailable. But that was a very cool little set. Another one I've also briefly showcased on the channel, but I'm not too happy with the video, was this.
Is that a
A
Siku?
Bugatti, a Bugatti Siku
Yeah.
set. Now this is quite an old one, quite a rare one now, and I've never actually opened it before, but it's a very, very cool box with presentation. It's not the cleanest anymore, but it's very cool. Is a Nissan Micra,
How
a
about that?
Nissan Primera, and also a Nissan van. Now, the cool story about these is my dad works in Nissan UK factory producing real Nissan vehicles, and these were sent out to each and every one of the workers there in the early 2000s as sort of a gift around Christmas time. And they've
Okay.
never done it ever again and never will do it ever. And they haven't done it since and never will. These are highly detailed 1/43rd scale cars, and they are quite rare now.
Hey guys, this is Bobby Mills with Wheelhouse Diecast,
This is Jake from Strictly Diecast.
This is Rodrigo from CB Diecast Tester.
And the Godfather from Simple Customs.
and you're watching Collections.
So, next we're going to move on to what I like to call Duke Corner. Now, I've never called it before that, but it's a new name. So I have a collection of black and yellow Dukes here in 1/43rd scale. This is a beautiful model by a company in Japan called Wits, and also one here which you guys will recognize from a previous video I was in, which is a 2015 Nissan Juke 1/64 scale Duke R 2.0 made by Diecast Team, from yours, David, yours truly. Now, these cars
That's me.
are special to me, as these two are both my store 1/43rd scale Duke R's. These are the closest I can get the Nismo. The Nismo's black, so that's why the black ones are here. But before we had the Nismo, we had a top spec, beautiful looking, bright yellow with bright yellow interior, just like this one. Duke, pretty much in the exact spec this was, without black wheels. So that's why I have a bunch of yellow ones. And yeah, moving onwards, we have the lovely R34 GTR, which I have here. I bought at the model fair. I can't remember the brand. I think it's Teumo, which is a new brand at the time. This one's very special to me. This is a Majorette Premium or Deluxe GTR, which came all the way from California. My cousin Alex, who sent me this one, as her mum or my auntie came over to visit us in the summer and brought that one along for me as well, which is brilliant, as I've not seen her in quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
Moving onwards, we have my customs startup now. Of course, the GDR there mentionable as well. Now, most of these are going to be from, at least on this row, a friend of mine called Phil Stainsby. Now, Phil does customs on my local Northeast group for Hot Wheels collectors. And these are all these kind. He works in a body shop. These two are from EJ, I believe, if I remember rightly. And these two are just mental. I love them so much.
Look
They are
at
just
that.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
It is,
hey, take that one back. We gotta get it a little bit closer there. Look at that.
it is
Blown.
simply ridiculous. It has a donut drifter base mounted with a separate interior, which I think is from an 8 ball, which is why you get the interior.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy. And then the Volvo is arguably just as mad. It has lovely color flip paint and unnoticeably a huge jet inside of it, which is just mental. So yeah, we love that one. And also from a few other bits and pieces as well, which you'll remember. CDG, uh, of course, sent me this one as well as a Mini and another Volvo as well, the build-off I did a few years ago. These two are from me. This was fairly recent. Two Minis supposed to be in a scrapyard, which is why it's got a bunch of leaves and bits and pieces. So these are my type of customs I do.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool, man. I didn't realize I don't know how I missed those. So you did those.
I did indeed do these, as well as the next five I'll showcase soon. So my sort
Fantastic.
of style is to do sort of abandoned and
Mm-hmm.
wrecked. So what I
Mm-hmm.
do really is I took the axles off. I could have used them for something else, but I decided not to. So they were supposed to be sort of pick and pull cars that had fallen off of each other
Mm-hmm.
and various other different bits and pieces, and that's how it turned out. I'm quite pleased with it. Now next we've got a shelf, which I've stuck this one because I thought it would look nice, from someone who's mad. In fact, his logo's on the side here.
There we go.
I think it says twice. No, these are some customs that David did. No, what we have now is the Duke, which I've already showcased, and then one which we have a particular attachment with, don't we, David? This one
Absolutely.
is from the Volvo build-off, and the reason I've left a bunch of scuffs on there is because halfway through transport, because we know they aren't gentle, um, they got a few rattles, but
Yep.
I managed to fill them in with a few bits of paint, and they look great again. But yeah, I just like to keep the scuffs there just to remind me how they arrived in the UK.
That they had a
And
long journey. I
oh, they
like it.
did. So next up, we have an MGB from yours truly again, or an MGA, sorry. I just like that one. It's nice. The car looks great.
Mm-hmm.
We have Hewitt here. I mean, I've showcased these before. These are some of the proud of my collection. They are just beautiful. The paintwork is fantastic. And when you open them up and smell them,
Yep.
well, the smell is brilliant, as you can imagine. And there's the Datsun 510 as well from him. There we go. Now,
Nobody,
Hewitt's a
nobody,
very
nobody
generous
does them
guy.
better. Some people do them as good as Hewitt's, but I don't think anybody does them better than
Well,
him.
Hewitt's attention to detail is brilliant. I mean, these are now getting on for what, 2, maybe even 3 years old,
Yep.
and you wouldn't know it. They are brilliant. Next up is a collection of premiums, which is slowly going to decline the more premiums the more customs I get. So some of these are going to have to go back into the cupboard.
Yep.
Um, because the customs are more important than these, I believe. And of course, we look behind, peeking, just behind there is another Nismo RS. Next up,
Always juking.
oh, we are. Of course, I'm going to open that one up. This one was one of my first ever customs I was very, very proud of. Bring it close to the camera. This one's meant to be a dirt racer. It was inspired by, I don't know if you've ever played the game Wreckfest.
Yes, absolutely.
And it was meant to be a bashed up, beaten up thing. This was set up by Jay's as a Jay's Diecast Creations as a sort of challenge. And if I open it up, I cut the interior to bits, so it only has one seat. And I also made a custom frame for the roll cage, painted everything black, and also a custom exhaust there as well, which isn't the prettiest, but hey, I'm proud of it. I also did my customary smashed up glass on there as well. And yeah, I'm really happy with how that came out. It came out exactly how I wanted it to and how I imagined it to.
Yeah, I like that, man. That was well done.
Now, next up is another custom of mine, and it's the last custom of mine from today. We have this BMW X5, which, as you can see, is battered and beaten and destroyed. Now, the reason for that is I follow a Instagram account who is Spanish. Now, in Spain, they have a lot of abandoned cars, and a lot of them end up being smashed up like this one. And I thought it was really cool to see. So I wanted to get a flavor of that, and well, this is what I created. If you want to take screenshots from my videos of where I made this, you are more than welcome because these
All
are
right.
one of my favorite customs I've ever done. I love the way the pipes look through, like they've smashed the glass, and yeah, it's brilliant.
I will take you up on that because I think that thing is absolutely smashed. Well done.
I like that. It's one of the things we know as sort of YouTube diecast creators is we always have a sort of friend who comments on every one of our videos somehow. It's like he's magical and he's AI. And his name starts with D, and he's called Dane. Of course, Dane Self, and these were customs by him. So I love these sprays put on it. It's beautiful. It's like a purple and blue.
That is
It
super
looks
cool.
very, very nice. We have another one in purple, and also skip that one for now. Another Volvo in purple with lovely details on it. Now, Dane doesn't really do many customs very often, or at least send them out from what I've sort of seen.
Yeah, I have never
Very big.
seen any of his. That's
Privilege
amazing. And
to really have them.
he's in Alabama too.
Is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You learn from me every day. So yeah, that's a privilege to have. And finishing the custom shelf off with a bang, we have this, which says him on it because I thought it was funny, from a lovely looking handwriting there, Old Man Diecast, in a
Old Pete.
beautiful powder coated, beautiful looking prelude. If we can spin the camera around again,
Yeah.
which is my super treasure hunts.
There you
So
go.
starting with the most recent, Jaguar F-Type, lovely looking car.
That's a fun video to watch. Fun video to watch, folks. You need to go watch him. Need to watch Rapid Nismo lose his mind.
We have a Elite 64 Chaser and also some two old mini badges because I just had to have them on there. And another one very familiar to you, a No Time to Aston Martin, and also my oldest one in the collection, again from you, David, is this beautiful looking Hot Ones Corvette from, I believe, the mid-80s.
Yep.
And yeah, that's a little quick overview of all of my collection so far. One which I'm very proud to showcase. All the customers behind me, and really thank all of you for the up and coming and, well, quite honestly, outstanding support I've had for quite a long time now, coming up 4 years in the summer, which is quite crazy if I'm honest. Yeah, thank you all so much for all the support constantly, genuinely. Thank you so much. It's been brilliant to see all the support. I am about 5, I believe, away from 700, which is a number I have been building for quite a while now. I will get to 1,000. I promised I would get to it 2 years ago, but I will get to it again at some point, hopefully soon. Fingers crossed, and also knock on wood. That's a door next to me, by the way. And yeah, so thank you all so much. I'll leave it out to you, David.
Okay. Well, listen.
Any questions? Fire away.
Yeah, I know there's a few things that I ask everybody, and I just want you can give me quick answers, you can give me long ones, whatever you want to do. So for people that
it's always going to be a long one.
the people that have already enjoyed the content on your channel, is there anything new or anything unexpected we might see in the coming year?
Well, unexpected is something you know fine well is going to happen because I don't even know what's going to happen. And something unexpected always happens. We're going to have more hunting videos. Hopefully, I'm going to meet up with more collectors, including Phil, who does his customs, and I'm going to do an interview with him and and hopefully see inside his brain and how it's really like to work and do these customs on the stair. Because he really does some great stuff now.
Yeah, that'd
I
be
got one of
great.
his first and one of his most recent, and the difference in quality is okay, it's brilliant. So yeah, I would love to get sort of more involved in that sort of thing and sort of do more interviews like yourself and
Yep.
organize some stuff like that because I
Yep.
love that sort of thing. It is brilliant. And yeah, just sort of explore more avenues down the Diecast alley, do more customs, restorations like my Ferraris down here. Maybe explore more parts of the country and get more hunting videos from the north and the south, east and west of England. Of course, I live in the northeast, so I'm down to explore. So let's see where our journey takes us as per usual. And that's about it, really. That's probably what we can expect in the next year, maybe
Okay.
more.
Tell
Yeah,
tell the tell the young collectors who might be watching this the benefits out of being a diecast collector. What have you enjoyed from this community?
now, I can go at this in two ways. I can go at this in the actual collecting, or I can go in this sort of how it's affected everything else. Now, I'll go at it in both ways. I'll talk a little bit in both. So, in terms of collecting, it helps you budget. That's a lie.
Hmm.
It doesn't. As soon as you see something, you get it.
Right.
Uh, it doesn't help you budget at all, and it also doesn't help you keep money. If you are trying to save money, this is not a good hobby for you to be in. In fact, nothing to do with cause it's a good hobby for you at all. Believe me. The more you get, the older you get, the more expensive your toys get.
Right.
Don't we all? But no, diecast it's a great community, and if as long as you get into the right one, because I know there's some wrong sort of communities which not wrong, but they don't do things the way we agree with. We tend to sort of be unselfish and give and not expect back, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
That's sort
Yep.
of the position we're in, not you, Derek, ever our community. But I know there is some who don't. They tend to scalp and want to eBay and that sort of thing. And we do cross across them. Just try and ignore it if you do. Don't get too riled up that maybe you see someone with, I don't know, the Porsche or so before you were looking for that, and they have 40 or 50 of them on eBay. Don't get too riled up on it. Try to ignore it. And you will find it. Don't give up hope. I mean, with the likes of my Super, it took me best part of a year, 2 years to find that. I
Hmm.
mean, don't ever give up because I was at the point where I was beginning to give up, not give up looking for them, but thinking I'll never find it. And then the day I thought that, I found it, as well as the Porsche 2 days afterwards. And that Porsche at that point was 2 years old, and it was very sought after and still is. And the Jag was a year after that. So yeah, don't ever give up. And I think another thing mainly for me is it keeps you out of trouble. So you're more likely to be out hunting than you are causing trouble and smashing things up. It
Yep.
gets you in with some great people like yourself, David, who want the best for you and nothing else. Um, you've just got to be careful. Have your wits about you, but that's with everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just enjoy it. Really is the main thing.
Those are
Afterwards,
I think those are words that we could all benefit from hearing often, but especially if you are considering a new hobby. Maybe you are younger and you know for the first time in your life you got your own spending money. This is a great hobby to
yeah,
get in because if you want to look at it, is there a cheaper hobby to start with? If you want to buy $1 and collect a car, you can still do it. You don't have to buy
I don't
the
really think there is. To be fair, I don't think
yeah.
the word hobby doesn't really associate anything with cheap. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep it short.
No, this is the most accessible uh passion that you can create within you. And Rapid and I like the nicer things, but we absolutely started out with the Hot Wheels and the Matchbox. A dollar
I'm
a
still
buck.
there.
Dollar, yeah. Rapid down at Poundland and me at Dollar Tree. So to
So
those listening, uh, don't give up. Like Rapid says, Rapid. Before we go, we're kind of creeping near the finish line. Before we go, you've already given advice, but is there anything you want to say to your viewers or your future viewers as we wrap up this episode?
just be careful. We'll say that much. Be careful with your money and where it goes. So I know with me through lockdown and then other things like that, I would save up and then we all be gone by the end of the month because I see a certain thing. Just be careful. But don't just get every single thing just because it's popular or just because other people like it. Buy it because you like it. And I can't stress that enough. David, I know you said it. Price diecast. Sorry. Honest Diecast has said it. Everyone has said it. Don't buy it because it's a hype piece, because you will end up not liking the hobby and it'll spit you out
Yep.
just as fast as it got you in. Don't get in because of that. Just enjoy it and take your time. That's the most important thing. But that's the way with everything in life.
Mhm.
Take your time and enjoy it the way it's meant to be enjoyed, not with rush. And that's probably the best, most important thing I can possibly say.
No, you nailed that. It's meant to be enjoyed. That's what you just said that stuck out to me. This is supposed to bring you a little bit of joy in a tough world.
And it doesn't make you money, it takes you money.
Don't look to make money. It's been a pleasure. It always is. You're one of the best, most authentic personalities in our community, and we all thank you for that. You're going to be at 700.
Likewise, David. Likewise.
Well, you're going to be at 700 immediately and 1,000 shortly
We can hope.
thereafter. Yeah. So
We can hope.
thank you for coming on the episode. We
Been
will
very enjoyable, as always.
we'll wrap it up here. Viewers, I hope you enjoyed getting to know Rapid Nismo, one of my best friends that I've never met, but will one day. We've got more interviews like this lined up on Collection, so stick around. Until the next one, take care.
I've got one more thing to say.
Say it.
I always have to finish off.
Oh, how are we going to end this episode?
Ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, have fun, and of course, from the UK and of course around the world to Alabama, where David is, stay juking. Peace, everyone.